Fashion besties, what is happening? We are back on the Fashion Crimes podcast with one of our OGs this week, episode 42. We are so super stoked to have our friend VienneMilano with us, Italian thigh-high stocking extraordinaire designer, manufacturer. But before we get to that, I want to check in with everyone, see how everyone is doing. Summer is wrapping up. Everyone's complaining about how hot it is, but guess what? It's summer and it's August. Of course, it's going to be hot, but we're going to do a pre-fall. We're going to do a lot of individual women-owned brands that are coming up. So you have that to look forward to. We are really cocked, locked, and ready to rock for the end of the year. We are talking about Christmas and holiday already, but I could not have our fashion bestie, VienneMilano, back on the Fashion Crimes podcast. She has been working on some new product. We support her. We love her. We want to talk about it. We want to push her into the spotlight. Vienne, welcome back to the Fashion Crimes podcast. You were episode 42. We are now on episode 211, I want to say 210 or 211, because you're coming out in the next couple of weeks. How have you been doing? Tell us everything.
Thank you so much for having me. First of all, it's such an honor to be back on your show. I can't believe it's been I don't want to say so long, but at the same time, I'm
I mean, it's been
excited.
forever.
Yes. So I've been well, been busy, but nevertheless, I'm excited and I'm really glad that we've kept in touch, to be quite honest. And
Oh my God, of course. I mean, you had another baby? What?
yep, two kids now. So
Amazing.
yeah.
And how are things going? Tell us. You have so much product behind you. Tell us what you've got going on right now.
Wow, I think, why don't I step back a little bit just to kind of give some color as to where we were before and where we are
Sure.
now. So I think when we first started and when I was first introduced to your show, I talked about my brand and that, I started the business because I couldn't find thigh-high stockings that would stay up on my leg. Prior to starting VienneMilano, I worked in corporate America. And so I was looking for stockings that would stay up and something that was appropriate for me to wear to work.
Hmm.
I'm not someone who's super thin. I'm not someone who's super wide either, nor am I tall. I mean, I'm just average size, just average size woman. I guess I am on a shorter size, shorter petite side, if you want.
We
Um,
like to call that vertically challenged.
yes, absolutely. So, I say that because it kind of references what my size is like, and that, I'm not someone who's looking for something that would stay up because I'm extra thin or whatever. Anyway, long story short, I did some research. I found myself all the way in Italy. So I've been working with suppliers for over 10 years, producing thigh-high stockings that can be worn for every occasion. So my whole spiel has been you can wear thigh highs outside of the bedroom. You can go to work, you can go to parties, weddings, whatever. But since then, our brand has grown. We now offer plus sizes, and also we've started to go actually going into the tights and pantyhose direction as well, just because a lot of folks have said, hey, I've never worn thigh highs before, but I am familiar with tights and pantyhose. So, I thought, God, um, well, I'm gonna have a harder time introducing thigh highs to you or my brand to you if you don't give our hosiery and the quality that we produce a try. So that's why we went into tights. And then about last year, I had my second baby. I'm like all over the place. Sorry, we're just rambling off.
Take a
So,
baby.
so last year I had my baby, and that was around fall. I thought, God, I
It
I
was a
have the one
girl. It was a
girl,
girl.
yep, girl.
Yay.
Um, And so, here I'm thinking like I could get away with not losing 40, 50 pounds immediately because of the winter time. Well, little did I know, Chinese New Year was last February this year. And um, a couple months after I had my baby, I was in between sizes still. And so, here I'm usually talking about how thigh highs are great because they stay up. I'm finding myself like chunky in the middle, right? I guess I'm still trying to lose that weight.
Sure.
So I started doing some research and I was talking to my supplier who I'm like BFF with, right? I talk to him like every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, God, I've been hearing a lot about like shapewear, and he's like, you know what? I think we can do something for you. And so lo and behold, I try shapewear for the first time after having my second baby. And at first it was really daunting. These are like the tightest tights, right? I've
Oh
ever
yeah,
seen.
it's like you can't it's like sweating trying to go to the bathroom.
But I tried it on, and it comes from the same supplier as where I choose my thigh highs. I'm like, okay, I know that the tights part is fine, but the part that lifts and tucks, that was the part that I had to mentally get myself ready for. And lo and behold, I'm like, oh my God, I feel amazing. Like that whole day, I didn't want to wear like anything else. I kept the tights on and I kept trying it and trying it. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. I definitely have to add this to my collection. And um, so from February till now, I've been working on launching and adding shapewear to my collection. So that's kind of like the long story of where I've been and where we are and everything that's in between.
Can we get back to your pregnancy? And just because I think a lot of people can relate to this, if you have a baby, and may I say that you're in your 30s, right? So you're in your 40s.
Yep.
Okay. So you're in your 40s and this is your second baby, and you're like, hey, my stomach used to be flat. Uh, Not right now. It will be again. So, what was your biggest struggle? Did you feel emotionally like my clothes don't fit, or was it really difficult for you? How did it compare? I know your son is not that much younger. I mean, you have little kids, but was it a huge difference between your first and second as far as how you felt in the aftermath of after you delivered?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So my son was born during the pandemic, right? And so
Oh, okay.
I'm like, because we didn't leave the house, I had copious amount of time to stay at home and work out. And so I
Right.
was able to lose that 40 pounds like pretty easily. But then with the second child, the pandemic's over, you have your responsibilities are just through the roof. And you now have a toddler who you have to chauffeur around or
Oh, of course.
there's activities and stuff. And so um not necessarily physical constraint, but well, no, I guess they are physical constraint. Because I wasn't like just sitting at home all the time,
Hmm.
had stuff to do, trying to lose that 40 pounds and getting back in shape was a little bit more difficult. No, not a little bit, it was more difficult just because you have more things thrown back at your court, you have,
Right, right, of course.
um, and so that it was challenging. Mentally, I'm like, oh my God, I got to do it. I just kept telling myself like I have to do this. Like I can't just give up, like and,
Hmm.
and it's a numbers game where the more activities you do, the more calories you burn. And so it's like a balance of eating right and exercise. However, it's also a time constraint, right? So like what I mean was um, if it's 4 months after having a baby, well, your body's still adjusting to things. So, I don't want to be a Chloe Ting. I don't want to be Chloe Tinging myself back into, size whatever. So I wanted to kind of give myself some time. And that time was really when I decided, okay, let's try something. I need to look good because I have events to go to. I was
Mm-hmm.
like an event locally, and then I was seeing family, and when you're in the public eye, you're doing a lot and you need to look good. And
Sure, sure, of course.
so, when you're like, okay, I'm not quite where physically I need to be, shape wise, it's just anyway, but I guess I'm rambling on and on. But it's just the frustration of not being back into the same shape you were before. That was really the part that
Now,
I struggled.
when you had Henry, did you snap back quicker? You
Yes,
did. Okay.
I did. Yeah, we couldn't leave the house, and he
So
he
you
didn't.
really could focus on you and you're in a better routine. Now that you have all these distractions, you're like, you have him plus, 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 plus. So it's just
Right.
harder. Yeah, it's a lot harder now.
Kudos to moms who like have 3, 4 kids and they're back in shape like that. I mean, I know women like this, and it's like, oh my God, I don't know how you do it, you know?
Well, it's all about genetics. You know what I mean? It's just all about genetics. But I'm sure your every day is getting better, and then you get it gets easier. Obviously, the older they get, I would assume. But you're doing great. You're doing amazing. You're how old is she now?
She's 10 months.
Oh my gosh, she's still so little. I love her.
Yes. Her hair, it's like, so my husband's redheaded. I mean, and so her hair is really light. I mean, I kind of wish I had her hair right now, but like she's light hair. With my son, it was like a dark brown, but
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I guess babies' hair color change, especially in the summertime. So who knows what her hair color is going to be? But yeah, we're just like, oh my God,
So
surprise.
now, so you've had that. Okay, so let's put that aside. So I love the fact that you have sort of pivoted, even though you still have your original product. Now you're like, this is what I need. And I would love a little bit of help in, the stomach area. So tell us about your new product and tell us what you're doing and how it's helping customers and what people think. Tell us all about it.
Well, it's always about me.
Oh,
The
of
brand
course, of
started
course.
because I was looking for thigh highs that couldn't fit me, right? It's all about me, 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 right?
Hmm.
So, and that's the part that I'm like kicking myself, is kicking myself in the head because it's like, gosh, why didn't I think of shapewear sooner? Because I mean, I know the answer why, which is pride. It's always been like, oh, I don't need to wear that. I'll just let a little bit of chunkiness hang out, what do I know? But then when, back to my frustration a few months ago, when you're so close to where you want to be, but you couldn't be there, you're like, okay, maybe it's time to try something new. And then the moment you do, you tell your friends about it, and a lot of your friends turns out they're like, "Oh yeah, I love shapewear." You're like, "What? Why didn't? Am I like the person who missed out on those? Like, why didn't you tell me about it?" Right? So, um, right now what we're doing is it's actually a pre-order. So
Okay.
the product on our website, there's a pre-order sale where there's a little bit of a discount, where if you order now you can get the product before mid-September and that way we're open to feedback and everything, and enjoy the stockings and a nice discount. However, they don't fully become on sale until mid-September or even maybe even before that. But so far, as you've seen our stockings, I have been, sending samples out to fashion best friends and whatnot, I have been able to get feedback, and so far so good. I feel like folks who've tried it on have really felt like, oh my God, this does tuck my tummy in and lifts my butt up. And so on, which is what I wanted to look for, which was I was like, oh my God, especially the tummy area.
Hmm. And
So
I do want to make you feel better. I mean, you're only 10 months out. I mean, and it sounds like a long time. It's just not a long time. I mean, sometimes it takes 2 years. Sometimes it just depends. But if you're in your 40s, you have your metabolism going against you.
yeah.
You have a lot of things, that you're hurdles that you're overcoming, and you really don't have that much to lose. So, a little shapewear can go a long way. And so kudos to you for thinking of this. And Vienne is always so generous to me. I mean, my God, if you could see my drawers right now, I have like 6 pair of thigh highs, all these kind of things. And for anyone who is new to the Fashion Crimes podcast, Vienne was episode 42. And and now we're on episode, in the 200s. So it's been a long time since I've interviewed her, and her product line has doubled and expanded, believe me, because I was fortunate enough to style her photo shoot about a year ago, 2 years ago, and we had a lot of product to photograph. So you've come a long way, but I do want to brag a little bit about you, about the beautiful packaging. And so can people who would like to order and try, they can see a little bit about what they're going to get. So as a fashion bestie of VienneMilano, she has sent me these shapewear. Now, I didn't want to put my ass on the video today, but here are the tights. This is the shapewear portion of it. This is, I think, a chestnut. I have to look at the color.
Hazel,
This was, I have to,
hazelnut.
hazelnut, excuse me, hazelnut. It is a very neutral color. Will go with somebody who is tan. And if you are crazy white, pale, this will give you a little bit of color as well. It's got the gathering in the butt, which is going to pull that in just a little bit. And then it's got the tummy section here. So I'm very excited to try these on and model them for you. But thank you so much for sending these. And they feel very thick and not tight, opaque, tight, thick, but they feel like something that would be great for transition fall. And we're going to do a little fall preview and include these as, leg wear and accessory. So I highly recommend trying these. But as she's testing the market for these, she sent me these with,
Well, hang on a second. So the ones I sent you, I think they are Serafina, which are 50 denier. So for our launch, we have two products. It's Clarissa and Serafina. Serafina is 15 denier, so they're sheer. And then there's 30 denier, which is Clarissa. And so they're available in hazelnut and black. Um,
okay.
so, for any occasion, really, if you, actually going back, what's a denier, right? Denier is the unit of measure. So 30 denier would be it's slightly thicker, slightly semi-opaque, or semi,
Mm-hmm.
depending on how you use it. It's the glass full, half full or half empty, right? Whereas 15 denier is more sheer. And so those are the first inaugural, if you will, shapewear tights. In the future, I will be launching shapewear, just the shorts part, so that, if you're like, hey, actually, I just want something to tuck my tummy in and lift my butt, we'll have those soon as well. But, because this is like the first time for me going into this market, I'm not ready to put everything out there yet.
Sure. I mean, you want to see what people are going to say. It also comes with an exclusive handout. So I get to fill out all my comments, which I really love because you want the feedback. It comes with a travel bag. So you can put your VienneMilano stockings in here when you travel. It comes with a lingerie bag. What? So if you want to wash them by hand, you certainly can. But if you want to throw them in a lingerie bag and wash them with other things, I mean, it's just a really nice, beautiful package. Sent me a little swag pin. Who doesn't love a swag pin? Then we got the socks, and we're going to go into the socks in just a minute. But again, the packaging is always gorgeous and beautiful. It's got this little heart. And then, it's just such a beautiful way to say, hey, I really care about your opinion. And this is why we love women-owned businesses, because women care. They care, they're emotional, they want to know what you really think. And it's so important to understand the needs of different people, because maybe there's someone out there that you didn't realize, hey, they need this or they need that. It's just not a cookie cutter type of product. You're interested in what, hey, maybe you have problems here, you have problems there. Some people are big in the butt and the stomach. So maybe they need more support in the thigh. I mean, again, you're going to find all that out. But thank you so much for this gorgeous package. And I'll be doing some videos about and doing a review, of course, of what I think. But I want to talk about some pricing. So for people that are new customers to you, and I'm sure you'll get some new customers from this, tell us the average price of what we can expect to pay.
So for the shapewear, right now the pre-order it's 29.95. Once
Nice.
the pre-order has ended, it'll be 34.95.
Okay. Amazing. Very comparable, very competitive pricing. I don't care if you go to Nordstrom, you go to Saks, you go to Neiman's, any shapewear is going to be higher than that. There are people who
Ours is
have
made in Italy too, so I just want to.
love that. There are people who have been in the shapewear market, of course, longer, but you never know what you're going to think of that somebody else hasn't thought of. So, what colors is going to come in hazelnut and black? Any other colors?
No, I think those are the colors that we'll start with for now. Being in the hosiery business for a little bit, I think black, no matter what, is
For
going to
sure.
color. And so I think for now it'll just be those colors. But we'll
Let's
see.
Let's talk about some hosiery and shapewear, excuse me, some thigh-high trends for the fall. I see you have these gorgeous colors behind you, these different patterns. Can you explain a little bit about what's behind you?
Sure. Actually, some of these are
So many legs.
yes. Some of these are from our previous collection, but I think last year or year before Barbie core.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the magenta over there with the Barbie core color, and then we also have the purple over here, which is like the VienneMilano purple, or we call it orchid
Right.
purple. We also have here sustainable or eco-friendly tights or stockings, if you will, which are made from yarn that are typically thrown away during production, but we take that back and we put that yarn back into use and produce something like this. And so, yeah, these are some of the colorful and patterns that we have in our collection. Yeah.
How many styles do you have right now?
Oh my goodness, that's a very good question. I'm actually not quite sure. It's hard to keep up.
I mean, you're getting bigger and bigger. I mean, I met you, what, 5 years ago, and you have doubled in size. You've doubled your production. I'm so proud of you, how far you've come. What are your top sellers?
Oh, the top seller is always going to be Isabella. This is black sheer, classic item. But I think to be fair though, even though the collection has grown, some items are no longer available, right? And so yes, it's grown, but like some stuff are just out of stock forever. And
Right.
but I like you had mentioned, being a woman in business, I'm always listening to like, okay, maybe there are some stuff that I should bring back, maybe some stuff that I could improve and make better. And so, that's stuff that I'm always open to, regardless of, anything. I'm like, tell me more. What do you think?
And tell me the difference between what do you think sets you apart from other people doing the same thing?
Well, I think there are few brands that focus just on thigh highs, for the most part. And that's part of the reason why I was very hesitant to, go into selling tights and shapewear because that market is quite saturated, to be quite honest. For us, I think people, at least our customers, they know us as a brand all about thigh highs and focusing on thigh highs and offering size extra small to 3XL. So that's quite a range that I don't think a lot of hosiery or thigh high brand focuses on. Um,
Hmm.
Other thing that makes us unique is that, you know, I walk that fine line where I know hosiery is something that is quite sexy and it is elegant. When we first started, VienneMilano was revealing the style and confidence for a woman who knows how to be elegant, playful, and sexy in every occasion. I was trying to play up on elegance and playing down on sexiness. So when you see our marketing, you do see that, okay, it's not quite, you know, over the top risque, but I walk that fine line because we are a little bit playful. It's definitely not something, super boring. I don't want to say.
It's not, it's not like super prude or anything like that. I think you
Right.
have a little bit of something for everyone. It can go either way. And I'm gonna tell you, your model search is like on point. I mean, you have the most gorgeous people wearing your thigh highs, and I think it really gives a nice contrast to thinking outside the box. Like I think this woman here who I mean, she was a lovely choice. And if you can see in the picture, she has on a hot, electric blue dress with black sheer thigh highs. And that is something that I would not put together, but it works. And she's tall and gorgeous and thin, and she looks great. So I love the fact that different people are styling it different ways that even, I wouldn't have known. And it's giving, different ideas as far as how to wear them, or maybe this is something I could try. I would say most women on the daily, unless you live in Europe, aren't wearing lingerie, thigh highs. It's not part of their rotation. I'm just saying most American women in
Right.
general,
That'd be great. Mhm.
they think it's a luxury item. It's where am I going? It's fancy. It's very
Special
high,
occasion. It's a special occasion accessory.
special occasion, but it just doesn't have to be. If you're going somewhere nice, it's a nice way to change up your look, especially the colored ones, especially the patterned ones. I particularly love, a fishnet, and you sent me some fishnets, and I love them because they stay up. They're cute. I can go to,
Oh, you know what? Forgot about, that you love fishnets. So we also have fishnets in now chestnut brown. So
oh,
if you're
nice.
not quite super pale and if you are, we do have something for that too. But if you're like a little bit tan, we have chestnut brown fishnets. And so I could send you that as well. But back to actually that postcard you share. So the girl in it, her name is Christina. Her and her fiance are my friends, and she's amazing. She's super nice. Um, when we first started selling tights, I have actually a style called Christina, spelled the Italian way, and it's named after her.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
so for me, I, the people that I interact with, yourself included, the relationship that I have with you it's very meaningful because, your feedback is important to me, like I mentioned before. But it also shows up in different aspects of my work just to kind of pay homage to your your feedback and everything, the relationship that we build.
Well, I love that. And just for anyone who is new to the podcast or who didn't listen back at episode 42, when I met Vienne, she was like, I make thigh highs. I was like, that's cute. I could never wear them. And you don't, I'm top heavy in my thigh. I have an ass. I have big thighs, flat stomach, whatever. And she's like, no, 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 no. You can wear thigh highs. I was like, no, 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 I don't think you understand. And she's like, I promise you. She sent me like 4 pair. I wore them. They stayed up. They were comfortable. The band was wide enough. And I think that's what it is with women with bigger thighs, is that you've got to have a wider band because you have more surface area to work with. And I
Yeah.
was so impressed. And I love it when people prove me wrong. I absolutely love it. And so, and again, I'm not claiming to wear thigh highs a lot, but when I do, I wear, of course, yours because they really are comfortable. And I am a terrible, terrible liar. I would never even have you on the show if I was like, oh, they're okay. I mean, they're very comfortable. So if you're plus size, if you have no thigh fat, whatever, it really does stay up. And I think the technology has really come a long way. Can you speak to how they stay up so people
Yeah.
understand?
So actually, there's something you said that actually really I think it's worth mentioning again. Is the lace top band. So if you do have thighs that are, not quite slender, right? I recommend the laced band because it's more forgiving. Lace tends to just wrap around your leg a bit more.
Right.
Um, if you're in between sizes, for women, I generally recommend sizing up because our thighs are this shape. We do have male customers. If you're a man, I would recommend sizing down because men's thighs tend to be more narrow. Um, but that said, the lace is something to think about for chubby thighs, I guess. I'm just gonna say I
Well,
like those.
yeah. I mean, my legs are my legs are shaped like this and then straight down. Your legs are like this.
Oh no, no,
So it's just it's a
no.
different fit. That's all it is. It's just a different fit. And when she said, I'm going to send you a pair, I was like, oh, that's cute. Save your money. But I was in shock about how I could wear them all day. I think I wore them to Fashion Week and I wore them I've worn them several
Yeah, when
times,
you were
but
in Boston, yes,
yes. And
I remember.
I was in shock about how I just couldn't believe it. So it is something definitely worth trying if you're open to it. If you want to put a little color, fun, playful, go on her website. She's got a million examples on how to wear them, how to style them, all these beautiful models that you have that it just really works. And it doesn't look like, hey, it's an afterthought. It looks like it's part of the outfit. And
Well,
I think,
that's something we mentioned too, right? Like, um, 50, it depending on the woman, or the man, like 50% of your body are legs. And
right.
so if you are a creative person, that is a lot of real estate for you to be creative and to complete your outfit. So, it doesn't have to be thigh highs, but it just think about it from like a canvas perspective. If you're painting,
Mm-hmm.
that's still an area where you don't want to seem like you forgot or unfinished. So putting on a pair of tights or thigh highs or whatever it is, it allows you to complete your look and to make your statement about yourself, right? And so that's why I'm all for like, hey, making thigh highs the part of the whole outfit, if you will. Is just have something to think about. It's real estate. I get it if it's summer and you're like, hey, wait a minute. It's like 95 degrees. All right, I get it.
Right.
Yeah. Or if you're at the beach, sure. But if you're going to like a wedding or to work and it's not 95 degrees, that's an opportunity for you to say something about yourself.
It's just a different look. And it has come back with a vengeance, and hosiery and thigh highs are back. They've been back. Last week I did an episode on how to style sneakers, and I talked about socks. I talked about the different type of socks that one should have in their organized sock drawer. So I did talk about boot socks, which I'd like to call, I know you call them knee highs, but I call them boot socks. And they come up to your knees. And if you are wearing like fabulous boots or whatever, you should not be wearing athletic socks. You should be wearing a thinner trouser sock like this. So, can you tell us a little bit about your sock line?
Sure. Honestly, you were the reason why, and I should have actually called it
What?
Holly. I should like find the Italian name for Holly, right? For the product. No, no. I think in one of our previous conversations, you had like said, Vienna, have you ever thought of adding this, that? And you had like a list of things that I should consider. And I believe socks was one of those things. And so here we are, right? So the socks you have, they're 40 denier. They're not super thick. So I wouldn't recommend them on like a cold winter day, but they are a fashion product for you to make a statement. And if you tried them on, they are just ultra like luxurious on your feet.
I love
They're
the color. I would have
yeah,
never, again, if I was in a store, I would never say, let me get some purple socks. But because you sent them to me, it's almost like a neutral. You could wear this, with like a patterned shoe or, like a boot if nobody saw it. But I always think about when you're in the airport and you have to take your shoes off, because even when they say you don't have to take your shoes off, you always have to take your fucking shoes off. So I just think this is such a beautiful sock. And whether you're tall or you're short, you can certainly scrunch them down. But this is exactly what I was talking about last week about a trouser sock. I think it's really important for people to have this. So I'm super glad that you introduced these into your line. We will be certainly supporting you in getting these. And thank you so much. We will be trying these with boots, especially cowboy boots here down in Georgia. We will be trying these, wearing these. And what colors do these come in? Do they come in every color, or is this just a test?
no, no, no. They come in a lot of colors. There's a separate product called Fulvia on our in our collection, and it's black. So very similar to that, but if you're like, hey, I only wear black socks, sure, we have that as well. I personally I do like black socks, and I really do like the Fulvia one because your legs, they just feel so pampered. It's just really, really nice. They're soft and smooth. Um, yeah, and I don't know if you've seen, but there's a lot of um fashionistas and brands out there that's pushing for just making your socks a statement, right? So
Yes.
we talk about wearing boots. I've also seen it with like open toe stilettos
Oh,
where
yeah,
you
for sure.
yeah, and you have that peep toe where you show, not necessarily your toe, but like socks in color, right? And then you show your socks coming up to your knees, etc. Not above your knee, but like below. And
It's like
it's
a hip, it's a very hip look with like a 70s strappy
yeah,
sandal. And I mean, you gotta have that look to sort of pull it off. But I,
yep,
I
yep,
feel you, I see what you're saying.
yep.
Um, but again, you've given us so many great ideas, and I'm so sad that I didn't have you on before now, but it's never too late because now you got new product. You've got shapewear, you've got trouser socks, you've got new colors, new styles. You've got so many new things. I could talk to you for 2 more hours. We got to wrap it up, but I want you to tell us what you really want us to learn and know about your products so people can check you out and maybe try something.
So we are available at VienneMilano.com. If you are like, hey, I don't know about thigh highs, I've never worn them before, just reach out to us. We have, like I said, 6 sizes, extra small all the way to 3XL. And so reach out if you need help. Um, and we have something for everybody, literally, from thigh highs to socks to tights to shapewear, the whole gamut.
And again, we love to supporting women-owned brands. And I will say, if you email Vienne, she is the one who answers. And she is the one who takes the orders, and she is the one who processes it. And she is the one that says, hey, what did you think? Hey, can I get your feedback? I mean, the customer service, because I'm a sucker for customer service. The customer service is just great. I mean, she doesn't do everything, but she does most. And so I highly, highly recommend. This is a great gift item. We haven't even talked about, you got a whole bridal section of all the bridal swag. If you want to get this for someone who is interested, who's getting married or whatever, you've got a little, and we're so proud of you. We're behind you. We love you. Wish you all the success in the world. Thank you for my gorgeous care package. I've got a lot to try on.
For me, it's been way too long too to reach out. So
I know it's like crazy, but for fall, again, you're in Massachusetts, right?
New Hampshire now.
New Hampshire. Sorry, you're in New Hampshire.
I was in Boston for a long time.
Right. And so it's hot. Okay. It's like living in Florida down here. I mean, we're not far from Florida, but it feels like we're in Florida. So it gets cold at night before it gets, it's still hot during the day, but it gets cold at night when it
you say cold, what is that?
I mean, it gets down to like 40, 50, and
Right.
I mean, that's not hot.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you have to wear this big coat, but wearing something like this at night would be great, because that's a way to once you get January, February, March, it's cold here. I mean, it's hot, it's cold for a minute here, but we can start introducing this for fall for different looks. If you have on a black dress and you want to wear some beautiful colored thigh highs, I mean, that's a cool look. It's a really cool look, and it's not that much of a fashion risk. I mean, it's just a fun way
I
to,
mean, just keep thinking about real estate.
yeah, for sure.
It's the real estate that you're not using or that you could use to make a statement.
Yeah.
Just
And
think about
every
that.
time I see Vienne, which is not often, she's wearing red thigh highs, purple thigh highs, and it's super cute on her, because she is, I don't want to say you're conservative, but you're, a very put together dresser. You are very elegant, the way that you dress, and to see you wearing so much color is a fun way. You're like, oh my God, she looks fabulous. Oh my God, that's so cool. And it's different. That's what makes it so unique. It's different because not everybody does that. So to see Vienne and purple and red and blue and all these fun colors, it's like, wow, where's she come from and what's she doing? So it's so interesting to always see how you pair it up. And I get mad at you because you're like, I don't want to show my face. I don't want to show my face. I don't want to show, but people want to see you because this is your company. So VienneMilano.com, Vienne Milano on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. I've done some really great videos with Vienne. We did in Boston when she was in Boston. So check us out, and please let us know what you think. I am so grateful. Thank you so much for coming on. Any final thoughts?
No, I'm just super excited to be on your show. So thank you so much for having me.
Oh my God, of course. And you'll be back for sure. You'll be back for Christmas because I just guilted you into that. So, anyway, this has been the Fashion Crimes Podcast. We are so grateful to all of you who have tuned in this week. Please make sure you're on our mailing list. Make sure you pick up a copy of my book. Stop making these fashion mistakes, because God forbid you make a fashion mistake, I'll find you. Thank you so much to VienneMilano, one of our super, super first OGs. We love you. We support you. We cannot wait to try your product. Best of luck to you. And we will see you very, very soon at Christmas. And y'all tune in next week. We've got some other episodes in the can of people from Charleston that we've interviewed. We've got fall preview coming up. We got a lot coming up. So make sure that you tune in. Have a fabulous, fabulous, fashionable week. And we will talk to you soon. Bye.